Chad, where are you? Where? Chad, do you recognize this voice? That's a completely different voice. Chad, I'll give you a hint. Good evening. I am Swamp Thing, and I represent the green, growing things on this planet. Sound familiar? Yeah. I thought so. Just saying. You've heard this voice before. Okay. Well, hello, my name is Chilimbwe Washington, and hold on one second, please. I do not have slides, I just have me. I had this whole big thing that I was gonna do. At the beginning, I'm like, we need something more. So first I'm gonna talk about story. How many times do you go to movies, shell out 15, 20 bucks for a ticket, and you see some big visual effects, spectacular, you got 3D, you got your digital, you got your IMAX, you got your smell-o-vision, you got your funky vision along with the draws, and the filmmakers give you this piece of crap. After 2.5 hours, and you spend all this money, and it sucks, all right? How many times do you spend $60 on a game, and after an hour you want to throw the game out? Familiar, right? Or even a full album of music, okay? It starts out wonderful, but then it starts getting disjointed. So by the end of the album, you have no idea what it's about, right? Story. What happened to story? You spend hundreds of hours, of man hours, thousands of man hours, creating this piece of work, and no one thought to formulate, way before this started, a nice, solid story. We're all forgetting that. It could be the prettiest thing on the planet, but if I can't relate to it, if I can't feel the vision of what these people want me to feel or supposedly want me to feel, then why did I just shell up my hard-earned time and money doing it? It makes no sense. Why would I spend thousands of hours away from that woman and our baby to make something that's a piece of crap? It doesn't bode well on me. It doesn't bode well on all the people that invested their time in me to make a piece of crap. It's just not worth it. Now, let's get on to what I was really here about. I told you it was different. Now, let's see here. Okay. I am here to talk about 4 things. Starter capital, fundraising, taxes, visual effects, and distribution. And startup capital. Essentially, you go to people who you believe in you and will give you money. That's the first part, based on your skills. You see it from the jobs that you have, you and your buddies, to buy services, equipment, etc., to grow. Now, it's the same issue for any business. You need to have a record of sales to be lent money. But most people don't have a history to speak of, so that can happen. Therefore, you have to have an insane, once you try to get a loan, you have insane interest rates for loans. You'll be judged on your own credit. You may have to beg, borrow, hopefully not steal to get the project done. That's just the facts. You can't get around those for business. These issues have prevented me from doing one of the core elements of my own business, and ultimately that's my fault. Fortunately, that part of that has changed, so that's wonderful. But there's some still hoops I need to go through. Fundraising and taxes. On taxes. In Texas, we have the moving image industry incentive program, It was authored by Representative Donna Dukes of Austin to offset taxes for the film and game makers. Now, in 2013, lawmakers allocated $95 million to offset, well, it actually is the biggest tax incentive that we've ever had, actually. Guess how many small, low-budget filmmakers and game makers gets this money? 0. Why? Well, I contacted their Representative Donna Dukes' office. Her staff routed me to the Texas Film Commission website and to Heather Page. Heather Page is the director of the Texas Film Commission. And she confirmed to me, she kindly called me about my inquiries, and she confirmed that the minimum budget for tax incentives for film and video games is $250,000. How is that number helping small business? How's that number helping you guys, knowing the average budget of a small team? Now, what Ms. Page also told me is that the collective resources of the Texas Film Commission, I can't say it, the Texas Film Commission is connecting resources of cities, services, and locations that could help a filmmaker or game maker with expenses for smaller houses. Now, this service is available for everybody. Now, is it really greedy to say that these same services are available for bigger facilities also? Yet, of course, they have their own people, so usually they skip this over. Now, you don't see Mayor Leffingwell or Governor Perry doing outreach for the small entities. Both major parties tout that small business is the engine that drives this country. How many times have you heard that? Why am I not feeling that way? With all the rescuing of big corporate interests and banks, why haven't the small film business and small business in general, owners, why haven't we got that kind of help? Now, one possible solution to some of this is using the template of the Austin Film Society to tailor small budgets, since $250,000 is not exactly small. Established in '85, the Austin Film Society was made to foster the appreciation of art and film, to support the creative vision of filmmakers. Now, originally, it was called the Texas Filmmakers Production Fund. Now it's called the Austin Film Society Grant, that makes annual grants to emerging film and video artists in the state of Texas. Awards are provided to artists whose work show promise, skill, and creativity. Since 1996, the grant has awarded around $2.5 million in cash and $141,000. Films have gone to Sundance, Cannes, Toronto, Venice, Tribeca, Rotterdam, and South by Southwest. They've won Spirit Awards and Student Academy Awards. These grants, they provide money for pre-production, cash, production, and post-production, and distribution. Of course, if this is ever transferred to a state side, that cash is obviously not available. So an entity like the Austin Film Society could become a template for the lower tier of the Texas Production Fund. In other words, you guys, people like me, could have access to the tax breaks. Now, a part of all this is not only film, but specifically, I have a special interest in visual effects. Basically, this is from, part of this is from, I can't remember the stuff, the Visual Effects Society, and let me just read this. Technology, local tax policies, and the current business model has transformed the visual effects industry over the last 30 years from a provincial business for a few locations, located primarily in California, working on a relatively small number of projects to a global market of projects and providers. Though the number of jobs have grown worldwide, job security and working conditions have significantly eroded. Now, basically, we're chasing something that's shrinking. Our industry is going away. It's basically imploding. Excuse me? For example, this is from George Lucas and Steven Spielberg. We're talking Lincoln and Red Tails. We can barely get them into theaters. You're talking about Steven Spielberg and George Lucas can't get their movie into a theater, Lucas said. Spielberg added that he had to co-own his own studio to get Lincoln into theaters. The pathway to get into theaters is really getting smaller and smaller, Lucas said. Another article cites Steven Soderbergh agrees with his assessments. In the same Hollywood Reporter article, Spielberg and Microsoft president Don Metrick mentioned Netflix as a distribution vehicle. And I just skipped. Laugh, it helps. Thank you. I just skipped a good chunk. Well, here's what I'm going to do. Basically, what I just skipped was saying that currently there's a movement going on in the visual effects industry calling for the race to the bottom to be over. Now, a possible solution, could there be in our current laws, when it comes to the trickle down of giving them that tax incentive money from the state to productions to visual effects studios, could there be a stipulation that says that you need to give a part of that, percentage of that, to the artists? It doesn't have to, but it's something that you got to be aware of, something we can be aware of. Now, since I am getting the music, you can laugh at that too, it's all good. I also want to mention, as far as distribution, that we could also possibly give places like the Alamo Draft House and other online channels an option. But my last thing I want to end with is that could Texas have its own film network or Texas Movie Channel to compete? Or some kind of online distribution channel? That's just one thing I just want to consider. And I want to end with, bottom line, I live here, I work here, I hire here, I give here. Do you want those things here? If you want them, then don't give me lip service. Prove it. Thank you.